both myself and my company, Cachet Software, and also our co-sponsors here this morning, which are no special sequence, but because otherwise I would have put ZBL Labs on the right, I guess. CloudBees, who look after Jenkins Technology and Jenkins Enterprise, some of which I think you may use. Just out of interest, before we go on, show of hands for Jenkins users. Yeah, right. It's big. It's about Kasuki will be happy. Okay, ZBL Labs would deploy it, which you'll probably hear about during the day from time to time. Say more about that shortly. Puppet Labs, who are here, also promote the Puppet open source solution. Have some representatives here, and they have a commercial product too called Puppet Enterprise. I think it's worth mentioning that we ran the first one of these in January as a Jenkins user event, and it seemed to be reasonably well attended. I think we had about 50 to 60 people. I put it down at the time to sort of pent-up demand for this kind of an event in London. This time we slightly moved away from Jenkins and talked about an offering about moving, helping people to learn about moving to continuous delivery. And the audience got bigger, which is, I think, in itself very interesting. It does seem that this kind of area is attracting a lot of interest at the very least. Happy, and we'll talk about that on the agenda in a moment, to try and help you with even some user experience in this area from the Met Office, which we'll come back to. Okay, let me just quickly go to the second slide here. I talked to Andrew Phillips about this in terms of what we should say as our overall message, and I felt that what we were really trying to do here was to provide some thought leadership in this area. Although the sponsors involved are commercial organizations, I think if you add up the, I'm not sure if it's the number of man years because some of them are quite young, but the amount of time that they spend, and I'll introduce the presenters shortly, on the road, working with companies, working with other people in the industry, you know, hearing people's ideas, experiences, challenges, and so on, I think well qualifies them to help you with this thought leadership objective. So again, I'm not going to introduce the presenters at this stage in any detail. We'll say something about the agenda shortly anyway. The other thing is obviously networking and exchange. That's clearly been happening already out in the coffee area there, so please use all the time you've got here to talk with each other. Hope you find it useful. A lot of people in similar industries here, some sort of broadcasting and media companies, some retailers, obviously some consultants, even some other vendors here. So we've got all kinds. You know, they may want to tell you about their products too. You can meet the sponsors. We have little stands out there for each of them, so you have a chance to have a chat with them if you'd like to. Some of you are here to discuss with either ourselves or our vendors possible proofs of concept usage of this technology. Some have actually done proofs of concept of the technology. You can talk to them as well. There are people in the audience who've done recent proofs of concept of these technologies, so that could be helpful. And well, finally, an enjoyable get-together. Chance to be out of the office and do a few different things for a few hours. Yeah. Right. So the agenda, I'm going to briefly move on from this, was going to be this one. In terms of the sequence. But I'm not going to dwell on that because thanks to the airlines, my joke for this morning, although I didn't find it a joke when I woke up at 6 o'clock and had this text message saying he's going to be 5 hours late, is that basically Andrew Phillips, who's the gentleman who was going to do what I call the vision opening for this session, is as we speak on a flight which is due to land at Heathrow at 11 a.m. this morning now, and so he's going to be barreling into London hopefully, and I've taking the risk on the fact that he's going to be here as the closer of the session this afternoon, and It will slightly damage the flow of the proceedings, but I think in terms of the content, hopefully you'll all get to hear all the things you would have heard in the previous sequence. It just doesn't quite work because Andrew, in effect, is going to do the vision view of this and share the experiences he's had inside Xebia Labs and elsewhere to tell you some of the key steps that he feels are involved in a successful continuous delivery initiative. But given the way that things have panned out, he'll have to summarize what you've already seen from other people prior to that. But a lot of you are here are Jenkins users. You'll be very excited to see Cachet here one more time, and he's kindly agreed to now do the opening. So we'll be leaping straight into Jenkins pretty quickly here. So those of you who are less experienced in the CD area might be challenged a little bit because his is a more technical view of the Jenkins environment and so on. But it should still work, and if it doesn't, well, you can come and see me afterwards and we'll give you a refund. Hopefully not. Okay, sorry, the technology's not quite working. Don't know. I think that's about it. Anybody have any questions? I mean, about the logistics, we have buffet lunch here. There's also a refreshment break, mid to late, mid-morning. More chance to network at that stage. I've been asked to remind people about fire drills if the fire alarms go off. And when I heard Andrew wasn't going to make it, I said to the woman here, I said, why don't we just fire a fire alarm off at 9:35 and run it for 3 hours? But she wasn't going to buy that. So I know enough about the fire situation here that if something were to come up, I could tell you where to go. So that should be fine. That's about it. I'd like to hand it over now to Cachet to do the opening session. It will take us 1 or 2 moments to switch over technologies, so bear with us.